Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/Tales from Retail. And it's time for another set of stories about crazy people. But before we start, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. I do not work here. Black Friday was, thankfully, somewhat kind to our store. I work as a receptionist in a big-name motorcycle dealership, and I'm happy to report that the small crowd we had was well-behaved and generally pleasant to be around. Honestly, bikers looking to get a couple of cheap t-shirts and some reduced-price parts are pretty mellow fellows. When closing time rolled around, there was very little to clean up, and I could have counted on one hand how many calls we'd received in the past hour. I was expecting, based on the time and what I'd bore witness to, that most other stores in the area would have a reduction in traffic. Seeing as I'd just gotten my check and the banks were, of course, closed at that hour, I decided to head to the superstore in the area. My plan was to go in, cash the check, and see if I could pick up a couple of packs of cards before heading another hour down the road for home. Right off the bat, upon pulling into the parking lot, I could tell I'd been wrong. The zookeepers were apparently on leave because the animals were still there. I should have just left and taken myself further down south towards home, but I just noticed my poor and loyal beast had an empty tank. The only way to quench the thirst of this monster is a cool $50 and a gas pump, and I was out of money. For you then, you poor dear. Check in hand, I entered the fray and immediately beeline for the money center, weaving between buggies of children, televisions, and food, not necessarily in that order. I managed to finally cross the threshold and enter the rope lines. That was the first time I heard what I was going to hear the entire half hour I was in the store. Excuse me. There was no one near me in the line, so I continued to walk, and it was then that a set of talons took the edge of my shirt sleeve, tugging me back a step. Excuse me, don't just walk away from me. Inwardly, I began to panic. Whoever this was out for blood, and it was mine. My inner monologue began to replay the past couple minutes. Who in the world could I have angered in that short time? Slowly, I turned to face the bird of prey that had cornered me. Beside her was a nest-like buggy with two small children in them, all three staring right at me. "Where are your bathrooms at?" she squawked. Me, not being from the area, shrugged. I don't know, I'm sorry." "What do you mean you don't know?" Her cry rang out, causing other animals of the hunt to perk up. The sound echoed with tones of going in for a kill, and I was the hapless victim. "Where's your manager?" Then it clicked. For some reason, this furious fowl seemed to think I was her usual prey. She had somehow confused the black button-up shirt with white pinstripes, plastered with our black and orange logo and name, for the blue shirts the poor employees at the superstore wear. She'd seen my name tag, but her eyes had blacked out the Bar and Shield logo right beside it. She'd been leering at my back with my store's name and logo on it, and in her mind thought I worked here. Having tried to process these facts and gotten the blue screen, I finally decided to tell this woman what I was sure she should have known. I don't work here. There was silence. She leered and glared and stared at me for a moment longer before huffing, "Oh well, I'm sorry. You sure look like it." She strutted away with her children still staring at me before I could ask how in the world she could have thought that. I was so grateful to be clear of the situation, however, and instead of chasing her down, I crawled through the line and cashed my check. It was over. I was free. This wasn't so bad. I decided I'd go and get my cards after all. Surely, I thought as I strolled out of the safety of the center and towards the aisles, that would be the only, Miss, can you help me find the ladies' nightgowns?" "I don't know where they are. I'm sorry, I don't work here." There, okay, that was handled. He was walking away. "Ma'am, my son spilled his drink over here." Okay. "Where are you going? People could slip in that," came the reply. I kept walking. I was regretting this already. I should have taken off the name tag and the shirt right then and there, but it was cold and there was nowhere to put the tag. "Hey, you're supposed to clean this up." I'd had enough. Slowly, I turned around and pointed at my shirt right where my store name was. "Ma'am, I work for this company. I don't know where they keep the mop here." She just gawked at me like I was speaking some dead language. "So you're just going to stand there? Wow, they hire people like you here?" "I work for motorcycle dealership, ma'am. I don't work here." Oh! I left her as she tried to pick up the broken pieces of her life from where I'd shattered it. I was almost to the cards. If I could just get to where the Pokemon were staring at me with sympathy, I could snag a couple and head for a checkout. "Ugh, I can't believe this. Why don't they have more people working on the lines? Because they're all busy helping out other customers, working. I refrained from rolling my eyes. Keldeo was welcoming me to the promised land. Hey, how about you do your job and get on a register? Nope, not me, nope. What is it with people thinking it's perfectly okay to grab someone? Someone snatched my wrist holding my wallet, and I thought for sure I was going to get robbed. What are you doing? Get off me. Don't ignore me when I'm talking to you. This lady was close to 50. Looked neat and proper and oozed anger like a cyst. You're not doing anything. Go and do your... I was done. I was so done. It was my own fault for coming into the store in my work shirt and name tag, but I was not going to be grabbed twice in one night. Ma'am, read my shirt. I work for Bike Shop. I'm here doing my own shopping. Just because you have to wait 5 minutes doesn't mean you can just grab people. Shut up, turn around, and just wait. Someone will get to you as soon as they can. The entire area went dead silent. People were staring at me once again, but I was too upset to care. The woman who had an iron grip on my wrist looked as though she'd stepped in something nasty, and she finally let go. She stepped back into her line, muttering about how that wasn't necessary. The complaint stopped. I slithered over to the card rack and picked up my 2 precious packs of cards. I ended up in line beside the same woman who'd grabbed me, so she was glaring at me the whole time. Huh? I closed my eyes briefly and looked at the man in front of her. He just grinned. Biddies like that is why I drink. Give me your cards. I got them. In the end, he walked me out to my car and wished me a good night. I went home and told everyone how grateful I was that I worked where I did. I felt so bad for those employees. No one should ever be treated like that where they work. No one. And our next story. The day I called my customer's wife an overpriced whore. I do car sales. I had a customer place an order for his dream vehicle. He was active duty military. His wife was next to him. It was a special order from the factory. All said and done, we were waiting for the car to arrive when one day he comes in all sad-eyed and things like that. I'm like, dude, what's up? He says, my wife says I can't get the car. She wants a BMW. And I said, but I thought you just bought your wife a Lexus 2 years ago, and now it was your turn. He says, yeah, but she fell in love with the BMW. I go, well, do you like it? He goes, nah, I want my Challenger. I said, I understand. I mean, why don't you just tell her it's your turn and you want your dream car? She already got hers. She can wait for the BMW. He responded, she told me to cancel. I fired back, is she your boss? It's kind of a summary of the conversation anyway. He agreed he should stick with his dream car. He has the money, great credit, and it's a gift they agreed upon. He was going to go home and tell his wife what was up. He came back the next day with his wife in tow. They came in, sat down, and she said, we're going to cancel this order right now. We went back and forth, reminding them that they aren't going to get their deposit back, etc., because she wants that BMW. Finally, she says, look, I deserve this Beamer. I work hard and I deserve the best of the best. Keep in mind, the BMW is clearly out of this man's price range. It cost nearly $70,000. To which I said, oh, what do you do? She goes, I give him the best booty on this earth. And I respond, so what you're saying is you're an extremely pricey whore. She says, excuse me? My customer is sitting as far back in his seat, strangely enough with a smile on his face. She asked me to say it again, so I do. She says I have no right to say that. I qualify my statement. Most likely shouldn't have done that. I was having a bad day. She, of course, complained to my management, who scolded me, and I shrugged it off. F her. She's a B-word. Deal was canceled. Customer didn't get his deposit back, although he was told if he did decide to come back, we'd let him use his deposit in addition to another deposit on any vehicle. 3 weeks later, he came in, said after I brought up the whore idea, it set something off in his mind. He did some digging. Apparently, she really was a whore and had 2 affairs going. He was getting a divorce, so he reordered his Challenger. Aftermath, BTW, she was incredibly bitchy. Bit more backstory, I'm actually still in contact with this guy, as I am most of my customers. He got successfully divorced because of the evidence he had on her. She basically got nothing. She ended up marrying one of the guys she was having an affair with. My customer took her Lexus and traded it in when the Challenger came in. Car wasn't his name. The Challenger was an RT and header orange with a T-grip shifter, sunroof, navigation, upgraded sound system. He's since put in some very tasteful rims and done a bit of exterior additions. Car looks really sweet. My customer's doing well, and he's very happy with his current situation. As per my comments to his wife, management didn't shrug it off. I did get in quite a bit of trouble and was very nearly suspended, which is something we never really do, although exceptions to our rules were put on restriction. AKA, all my details had to be perfectly clean for the next month, which is incredibly difficult to accomplish. I've also been advised not to make a habit of calling my women whores. It's bad for business. If you're curious as to why I didn't get fired, well, I'm a really good salesperson with really good results and great customer service. This was one serious ding in my reputation. Looks like you potentially saved that man a lot of future trouble. Nice one. And our short closing story. I met the greatest customer of my life tonight. I'm a cart pusher. It's pretty cold outside. I'm by myself, and it was a pretty miserable night. A guy walked by saying that, "You're the hardest worker at this store. I see you here all the time." I was flattered and said, "Thank you. Have a good night." About an hour later, same guy comes back. He went to another store and bought me a present, a reflective yellow winter jacket. I was shocked and nervous because I know I'm not supposed to accept gifts from customers. I warned him of that, but decided this guy probably just spent $30 to get this for me. I thanked him and said, "Thank you so much." I still can't believe I met such a nice guy. I asked him if he needed anything, and he said, "No, this is for you. You deserve it." Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.